And we're often recommending things, but I'll say this. This is one of those really good A1 AAA titles. This is Taylor mentioned Chernobyl, and that comes to mind to me. Those big standalone series that you go back to every 3 or 4 years and it's still just as good. It's well made, well acted, well written. Like there's just nothing to pick at, and that's what Shogun has been so far. I've been avoiding the historical stuff because I don't want any spoilers, because I don't know what happens to the English guy.
I did the same thing. I stopped reading the Wikipedia.
For those who don't know, basically, there's a power struggle in Japan, and simultaneously, the first Englishman and Protestant to ever come to Japan has made his way there, and he's embroiled himself in this power struggle. And it's very funny, honestly, at times, because he's loud and screaming in English, and they're also traditional and like afraid to step out of line. I don't want to spoil anything. In the most recent episode, I won't spoil anything. I'll say this. In the most recent episode, the 3rd episode, which the big plan is about to fall apart, and nobody's going to lift a finger to stop the big plan from falling apart. And the white guy's like, is no one going to do anything? Is no one going to fucking do anything? And everybody's like, very traditionally Japanese submissive and like won't step out of their station, So yeah, I guess we're all just going to die and he's just like throws himself at the problem.
Yeah.
He just throws himself at the problem and starts babbling in English to Japanese men with swords, and just like just trying to stop the problem from going nuclear, which it is just about to do. There's violence, there's sex, there's gore.
There's really good dialogue so far.
There's very good dialogue. There are subtitles, but I prefer it. I find myself taking more from listening to Japanese than I usually do some other languages. Like when I hear Spanish, it's sort of a da 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 da. I just kind of hear this but we did the Japanese I start like, it's like, yeah, okay, I get that he's putting more emphasis on that word. That word is this word, and I'm putting it together a little bit. I'm certainly not understanding, but it means more than gibberish, and I'm digging that part of it.
Yeah.
I really like there's one character who's like, he's fascinated with the moment of death and how people face that moment, and so he's sort of into really macabre, like morbid shit. And I like that character. That character is pretty fucking hardcore, although it turns out 1600s Japan, there were no weak ass people. The ladies are hard as nails and the dudes are hard as nails. Someone steps out of line at one point and the guy's like, shit, I stepped out of line. I embarrassed everybody. I'll kill myself.
Yes.
I'll kill myself. And I'll kill my son and end my family line, my infant son. And they're like,
Taylor nails it. Show, don't tell.
Yes. He showed.
He showed.
Yeah.
So he killed himself and his infant son. And it's like, damn,
seems like
y'all
a bit of a
mean
waste. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed pretty awful, and especially with the timing. We probably should have hid those people until like the next episode, right?
Yeah. Seems like this whole thing could have been avoided.
Yeah, like
a little bit of a delay.
About killing yourself and your infant boy. Wait till next week, because we're blowing this shithole. We're out of here.
If I have to seppuku myself over embarrassing my Japanese chieftain warlord, I try and schedule it like a week and a half, 2 weeks down the line, and by that point, hopefully, it's blown over. This guy was like later that afternoon.
There's the main Japanese guy, Woody, is such a calculating tactician. He's clearly the smartest guy in the show by far, but he doesn't speak very much. You just sort of watch what happens and what he does. There's a scene where through a translator, he tells the Englishman, he's like, hey, would you teach me to dive? They're standing on the side of the boat. And the Englishman's like, well, sure. It's a little weird, but he strips down to his underwear and he kind of describes how to dive and how to break the water with his hands, and he dives. And the guy's like, huh, would you do it again? And he makes him do it over and over and over. And at first I thought he just wanted him to take a bath. But then he says, huh, would you like to race to the shore? And it's like, he just tuckered him the fuck out. This guy's been diving off the side of a sailboat, climbing up a ladder like 8 times in a row. And now he's been challenged to like a swimming match. And so he's like, yeah, okay. And nobody says anything. I'm like, I think he's just that much of a like tactician that he's like. This dude, by the way, when it came time for them both to start the match, he's dove perfectly. This dude, they both dive perfectly into the water and take off on their swimming match. But I dig the show, man. I don't think it's going to let me down. I'm really appreciating that the fucking the sets and everything look so good.
It's coming out week to week, though.
Yeah. Monday nights at midnight on Hulu.
They're all like an hour long.
Available.
Just to be clear, Monday at midnight, like the very first minute of Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. That's yeah. I'm pretty into it right now, so I've been trying to
it's
watch
really
it as
fucking
soon as
good.
it comes out. Yeah. That's a little bit of what's making me want a sword, I think, because there's a little bit of sword play in there.
I think you should. I think you should get a sword before this fancy leaves.
I've always thought you needed a sword.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I
look at you and I say this guy loves swords.
A man with no swords is a bit of a pussy.
Mm-hmm. How are you going
right.
to be a warrior? You couldn't be a warrior.
How will
without
I
a sword.
expand my fief?
Yes, you need to expand your fief.
Expanding my fief is all I fucking.
What if you have
think
a
about
home
these days,
invasion
Taylor.
situation?
Well, I've got this.
Bad news for them.
Then
Not today.
they
No,
get
not today. You're going to get fucked up, but
Well,
back then.
I do have that Captain Jack Sparrow setup where I've got 6 Black Power pistols and
Yes. Yeah, and you get drunk
wow,
before
geez, look at that fucking link.
Yeah, that is it a Baklock? Baklock? Batleth.
Yeah, you get the Batleth there. It looks like a completely impractical weapon.
that looks really impractical.
Though I've watched Worf use it enough that I think I could do some damage.
This
Isn't
is
Worf
great. You have like a
superhuman
5-foot long weapon that you can reach 18 inches with.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of you can hold it like this and do some pokies, and there's a lot of underarm stuff, a lot of spins.
But the
Seems
your
like a good
range
way
is
to
very
cut
short. I feel like if
Oh, no,
someone had
no.
a sword, they could poke you from 3.5 feet
Oh,
away.
they don't have a sword in this scenario, Woody. no.
Yeah, home
They have a
invasion.
shopping cart. They're hiding behind their shopping cart, screaming. and I'm calling them patak.
Thing is pretty dope.
It is kind of neat, but
I don't like that.
Yeah,
it's
that doesn't
foamed
look
out.
practical.
That makes it look cheap to me, and it happens to be the most expensive one on all of Etsy. There's a $180 one that's like looks better, but I don't want the cheap one. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
want
I need
some
to get an
mass.
artisan. I need to get a real Klingon to make this thing for me. Is what I'm thinking. A real Trekkie.
how much are you willing
I
to
got.
pay?
Zach, can you show this one? This is the one Kyle needs, so he
I
can be
think
like that guy.
$8.99. Let me see what you got here.
$8.99?
$8.99.99. Yeah. Oh, my man here's. See, this doesn't look very traditional to me, and
Look
it also
how
looks like it's made out
this
of
guy
foam.
is.
That's a foam bat left, Woody. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Woody. He's not holding it right.
It looks like there's no correct way to hold this cumbersome, useless weapon.
Well, that's
What is he the
That's-
dude? I don't know. He just strikes me.
I'd
as
rather
super
you come at me
uncool.
with that than a baseball bat. You're going to stumble and kill yourself.
when you see me going through my kata with that thing while I'm singing Klingon opera, you're gonna think different.
Are you going to, before you get a sword, you should practice your kata.
I'll be chanting the dirges of Kalis, and I'll be flipping that thing around.
Please, if you
I'll
buy a sword, get a Japanese one. Or at least a
Why?
Japanese style
Why? That's
one.
the opposite of what I want, because I think
No.
that's the lame one. That's the lame one.
I know it's the lame one.
Dude, that's what all those fat white dudes with ponytails buy. They buy themselves a goddamn katana and
Okay,
wear
well,
their
then get a
trench coat
Gladius.
with their Jinko shorts.
Gladiuses are cool as shit. Get one of those.
because I think they're neat.
They are neat. That's the problem. Let's be real. Fedoras are fucking neat, but they have been
Yes.
co-opted by a disgusting race of man people.
You guys got to
You're
get off
right.
Reddit. Fedoras are not neat. You look like
Yes,
a
they
fucking
are.
goober.
Dude, my
You look
1
like
to
you should
10
be
scale,
detecting.
I go up by a point with a
I
fedora
want
on.
to be a detective so badly.
Yeah, just take up
One of those
smoking
gumshoe
cigarettes.
detectives with
Say say stuff like Dame. Seems to be the problem here, Dame.
I
That
want to
would
be
good.
Jack Nicholson from Chinatown. That.
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
Yeah, this reference is falling dead
fantastic.
on
God
everybody.
damn.
Just get a
Wonderful
Gladius.
film.
You'll be happy that you
Wonderful.
didn't
Old.
get it.
It's just when Jack Nicholson had all his hair. This is a long time ago. There's one part where the guy pulls out a switchblade. He's caught Jack Nicholson where he's not supposed to be, and he like puts the tip of the switchblade in his nose, and he's threatening him. And then he goes switch and just cuts his nostril. And so the rest of the movie, Jack Nicholson's got his nose all taped up. It's pretty fun.
Oh,
It's a good
I
movie.
hate that.
It's a good movie.
That would
There's like a crazy surprise ending that's like, oh shit. It's a fun one. It's an old movie though. It's Jack Nicholson with all his hair.
Yeah.
I watched the whole Fallout show. I'm on the last episode. It came out last night. I binged that whole fucking thing today. It's like 7 hours of that shit. It's at least.
Dumb question. Is it like the video game? Is that Fallout?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it takes place like 15 years after Fallout 4. So you're in kind of uncharted territory as far as the timeline goes. But they're in California. They're in LA. They mention things from prior games. And my God, it might be the best video game adaptation of all time as far as accuracy. Everyone really likes what's the zombie one with the little girl and Pedro Pascal? The Last of Us. Last of Us is one of the best as far as acting and production value and just really making me feel something. That gay episode I love so much.
A lot of wasted time there.
I love
the second gay episode when they're we don't have to relitigate.
I didn't like the second gay episode, but I did like the first gay episode. Now back to Fallout. It's so accurate.
I enjoyed my first time as well, to be honest.
Oh my God, it's so accurate.
But I was sore the second time around.
Yeah. They made if you remember, they made Halo a couple years ago, and I think it might be doing well viewer-wise, but it's awful. It's a real departure from the canon of the games. And I don't just mean that they made a character the wrong color. I don't mean that they're on a different planet. I don't mean that they combine two characters into one. I mean, they go off the fucking rails and Master Chief showing his ass and his face. Master Chief's getting laid. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's not Halo. Fallout-wise, this is Fallout. This is unflinchingly Fallout. This is gore, murder, rape, slavery.
I can't tell how much you like it.
I love it so much.
I watched 7 hours of it.
I watched 7 hours of it today.
Well, he's also a huge Fallout fan. I might watch
Amazon.
a lot.
That's true. Yeah.
Amazon. All 8 episodes dropped yesterday or last night on Amazon. It's got Walton Goggins playing a ghoul cowboy. It's got this cute girl with really big eyes. Her name's like Pernell or something like that. She's very pretty. She plays like the main character who's sort of there's like 3 main characters. And they're all sort of bumbling around trying to It's very good. The weapons even are perfect. Like if you've played Fallout, you're gonna be like, oh, the whole way through that Leonardo. You're gonna be that Leonardo DiCaprio meme the whole way through as you watch.
Was it whistle?
References.
Is it like stop frame fighting in the TV show?
Nats. Or is it Nats? Mats. That's it.
Yeah. I don't play the game. If you can't tell.
No. There's no
first-person shooter for lobster accountants. That is.
Yeah. There's no VATS. It's telling a story. It's lots of characers and it's very
super good.
I like it a lot. I think I would
your
like
enjoyment of it. Do you think is because you're like an enormous Fallout fan?
I think I would like it even if I was new to Fallout. If anything, I think this would be making me want to check out Fallout now. It's interesting. It's a fine line when you're adapting a video game like Fallout, for example. When you get hurt, you can be really badly hurt, but enough stim packs or the right med fix you right up.
Yeah,
and they do that. So like you'll think someone's dead, and you'll be like, I've got a stim pack though. And it's like, oh, thank God he had one. They seem to be very rare, but we'll come up with one if we need to. And like characters will get just terribly maimed. Lots of gore. All the weapons are even right. Like the vaults and the Vault-Tec stuff. The Vault Boy. I love it so fucking much. The sound effects are exactly right. And it's an interesting story. It's post-apocalyptic. If you like post-apocalyptic stuff with like dark fucking humor and dark twists, you'd like this as well.
That's funny. Like I saw someone nitpicking on it. Like I know that you're like saying how close it is to like the game. It's hilarious that some people like have that. There's like the level of how close they want it to be. And there was this dude on Twitter nitpicking that like they had one of the power armor suits, and then the dude like jetpacked over, and he's like he doesn't even have a jetpack attachment on his power armor. And the show is so gay. It's
not me who's gay. It's
so those guys are assholes. And I know exactly what you're talking about. The jetpack's a whole other thing. You throw on your back, but he had like jetpack arm things that let him fly for just a minute. He flew and it was a comical thing. Like he didn't know how to fucking use them, so he like loses control and falls, and it's funny. that's absurd to be mad about. That'd be like being mad because in the lore, actually, Vault 31 is the vault with the lobster people. It has nothing to do with the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get over it. Get over that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the right world.
Was
They
there
may
anything in there that you as a fan were like, oh, they did a bad job with this? I wanted to see this portrayed a different way.
No, everything's exactly right. Like, the guns are exactly right. Like, they made the guns, and there's so many different guns because it's a video game, you know. There's different classes of guns. The way that when people get shot, the way their bodies react, like when people get shot in the head and fall out, their heads explode into all this gore. So heads are exploding into gore. Everyone's very awful. Even the food, you know, there's lots of food items like Blanco, mac and cheese, and everything's corporate. Everything.
I didn't know all the Fallout games were supposed to be in the same universe. I guess I probably should have. I've only played the one. So.
Very much so.
Okay.
There's
just different times in the same.
But in like 10 seconds, basically, it's alternate reality where instead of microchips, they advanced into like fusion technology, and but they stayed with transistors. So everything is that bulb tech. But you got nuclear cars, but you've got like old school TV sets.
You mean vacuum tubes or transistors?
Vacuum tubes. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. And there was a big resource war with China. And the U.S. won it, and because of that, the Chinese nuked us, and so we nuked them. And at the center of all that is a grand conspiracy through what was the largest corporation in the world, $1 trillion company called Vault Tech, that kind of owned a little bit of everything and was not only responsible for the war, but also responsible for a great many atrocities, including the Vault program, which is just to experiment on people. They sold them to people as like your salvation during the war, but in reality, most of the vaults, 95% maybe, are experiments, social experiments, science experiments, all sorts of weird things. Like maybe like one of them might have 400 women and one man. One of them will be completely ruled by scientists. One of them will have a computer that tells you if you don't elect a leader every year and then execute him at the end of that year, you'll all die. And so they've been doing that for 200 years, not knowing that nothing happens. It was just an experiment. And the monitors are already dead. The people who are monitoring the experiments are long gone in many cases. So it's really dark universe. It's fun.
Interesting. Well, if I get into the Fallout universe, I'll check that show out.
Fuck you.
I think like one of the best ones out of Fallout 3 is like you end up finding the president, and it's just like some fucking shit old like BBC computer that's like a piece of shit, and he's just like, I'm the president. It's like
I tried to play Fallout New Vegas, but I tried it after Fallout 4, and there were, like, you know, if you're not used to an old game and you learn,
you gotta have the nostalgia.
Like you, not even the nostalgia, but like you jump in on a version that has a lot of quality of life changes added as far as like user interface and all that shit and making it smooth. Like if I would have started on Fallout 2 or whatever the fuck like one from 12 years ago was, I probably would have enjoyed it. But going from Fallout 4 backwards, I was like, oh, this looks so much worse. And it's
gonna mod the fuck out of it. Yeah, New Vegas is the best story wise.
That's what everybody says.
4 is the most stable and easily moddable.
Yeah.
And 76
I find New Vegas to be kind of annoying. Like a lot of the way you like move in between, like when you go to the towns, you have to go in through like a certain door, and then you have like this loading this, or you'll go to like, so you go to the town and you get there and you have to walk all the way around to the other side of the town to go in the door, and it's like, and it's annoying as fuck. But you can mod all that shit, but it's like it's like you need 100 gig of mods.
It's a TV show starring Sylvester Stallone. That's very good. Tulsa King. Tulsa King. Have you watched any of Tulsa King?
Zero.
I'm at least 2, maybe 3. I'm about 3 episodes in. Here's the premise of Tulsa King. Sylvester Stallone was a New York mobster. He just did 25 years because he wouldn't like tell on his boss or whatever. He gets released from prison right at the beginning. He's got some voiceover while you see him getting like released from prison. It's funny. It's like good stuff. He's got some good lines in there. And right away, it's like, okay, he's going to be kind of a wise, smart, funny kind of guy. And he is. And he instead of taking him to like a mobster reception at Scores, the strip club, he's like, we're not going to Scores. There's no party. He's like, nah, Long Island. Oh, okay. We go to a house. Whose house is this? They didn't say. And he's getting scared, and like he's basically walking in the room like prepared to die. And it's not even that good of a news when he gets in there, and it's not death. They're like, look, there's nothing here for you anymore. There's nothing here for you. He's like, I just gave you 25 years of my life. My family won't talk to me. There's nothing for me. It's like, you go Tulsa. I'll give you Tulsa. Fucking Tulsa. That's you're exiling me. Look, you've given you your whole fucking city. You get a whole fucking city. Now get out of here. And that's basically how it ends. And I'm like, okay, so he runs Tulsa, Oklahoma now? Is that yeah, he does. But the thing is, there's no like mobster network in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What they're saying is, we okay you going to Tulsa and taking over.
So you have to make your own enterprise.
Dude, he rolls into town and like because he's missed the last 25 years or whatever, and he's 75 years old. He doesn't know anything about like the iPhone or anything. And like he's almost getting into a fight with his cab driver because the guy says he looks like a gangster. He's like, don't you say I look like a gangster. Don't you ever say I look like a gangster. He's like, nah, man, I just mean you look cool and all. You think being a gangster's cool? Well, yeah, I guess, slick with it. Hot. That's what I'm saying. All right, then. Like he's getting ready to like pimp slap his black driver. They drive past a medical marijuana dispensary. And he's like, what is that? He's like, it's a weed store. Pull over. He walks in there and basically strong arms them. Like he beats up the guard. He tells the guy, like, take me in the back and show me your books. I'm your partner now. And like threateningly, he just assaulted the guards. The guy shows him the books. He's like, you made $500,000. Where are you keeping that money? He's like, the bank. He's like, I know you're not keeping it in the bank because then the feds can get it. Where are you keeping that money? I don't have it. He's like, look at these shoes. The corner of these shoes are very sharp and very hard. I'm gonna break 3 of your toes if you don't tell me where that safe is. We both know it's right there. Yeah. So he gets up and he opens the safe, and there's this like giant pile of money, and he peels off like 100,000, and he's like, all right, I'll see you in a couple of days. He's like, that's all you're taking? He's like, I told you we're partners now. I'm gonna look out for you. That way, if any of the gangs or the criminal element comes in here, he's like, there's never been any criminal element to you. Hey, what are you, a smart aleck? You listen, I'm protecting you. And he just
I'm protecting you from people like me.
Like me. Hey, he's like, there's more coming. There's not though. He's the problem. And he walks out of there with this man's money and like gives the driver half of it and is like, go get me this car, and hands him a page out of a magazine. He's like, you want a Lincoln Navigator? Yeah, black one with all the shit in it. So now
Lincoln Navigator, the coolest of SUVs.
I don't know. It is. It's fucking sick.
They're nice, but that's a weird request.
But the first couple episodes are him like
cover it.
It'll get you started. And especially if there's an assault involved. I don't want to spoil that, but there's another beating. There's another beating at the car dealership that I'll gloss over.
I hope so.
There's a severe beating at the car dealership over and so
you
we
think
get it.
You're the assassin. I'm the assassin.
It goes like that. But then just him trying to like put his money in his bank account. They're like, well, you need ID. I was like, here you go. This expired in 1993. Like, oh, shit. Well, I don't have any. Well, you have to go get some. And him like going through the process of getting a driver's license. And of course, he like turns to the left. They're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" No, it's cute and it's funny, but it's violent at the same time. And like everybody plays their roles like seriously. I think there's going to be death and murder. Sylvester Stallone pulls off being physically intimidating at 75. Honestly, he does.
Impressive.
He's big and bulky, and there's a scene where he fucks a woman, and then afterwards, she's like, "How old are you?" He's like, "Come on, what do you want me to say? You might as well be asking me, where were you when Kennedy was shot?" She goes, "Where were you when Kennedy was shot?" "I was a senior in high school." She goes, "That would make you 75." He goes, I gotta go. I gotta fucking go. And like gets disgusted with him and rolls up out of there. And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "Will I see you later? Maybe tomorrow?" And she's just like, And she like closes the door and she's gone. It's kind of a sad.
No, you geriatric.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I like it a lot.
Septuagenarian.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah. Septuagenarian if you're in your 70s rather than octogenarian up in your 80s, right?
True fact.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna watch some more probably tonight. I'm surprised.
Without spoiling it, do they leave room for season 2? Is there a season coming?
I'm not through season 1, but I would imagine so. I think that it's produced by that same guy who makes the Yellowstone stuff.
Sheridan, something.
Yeah.
I forget his first name.
Well, regardless, that guy, this show and that other show with Jeremy Renner, the Hawkeye guy who like almost lost his leg recently. He's got that show that's like Mayor of Something Town or some shit. He also produces that. I think they're all supposed to be in the same universe. It'd be fun if you saw like some crossover stuff happening.
Kingstown.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Ozark. I want to get Kyle's take.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I thought it was tremendous.
All right, should we do spoilers or non-spoilers?
I'm only a few episodes in, but I'm...
Okay, well then we can do like a few episodes in non-spoilers. Basically just like set up like how this season begins, and how that relates to how last season ended. And we'll talk about like how it's a 7-episode thing here, and then we're getting the other 7 episodes, but we won't give like major spoilers and plot points and stuff like that. How about that?
Okay.
And for the audience's sake, you should really get into Ozark if you never have. It is like we talk about it. We like TV here. We're 3 guys who have a lot of spare time on our hands, so we're into TV. I get it, but Ozark is legit one of those top tier like gold star.
Really is
the acting, the plot, like it hits it out of the park.
Like it's in my top 5 all-time TV shows, and we're 3 seasons in or something like that. It's incredible. Yeah. I love it. I think it's as good as Breaking Bad, maybe better. I think it's better than Breaking Bad. I do.
It's getting there. This new season, maybe it's like recency bias, but yeah, I'm enjoying it just as much.
So you said recency bias. I'm scanning myself for like nostalgia bias.
Yeah.
Was Breaking Bad really that good? If you rewatch it, will you be upset at fucking cinematography masturbation where they just fucking film a handle on a car for 13 minutes?
Here's why I prefer.
You're watching the goddamn show through the reflection of a chrome door handle.
I like that stuff. So I really like that, and that's one of the things I appreciate about Breaking Bad. I do like cinematography, and it's like how the food is presented versus how the food tastes sometimes. Some people don't give a fuck. It's like mush it all together in a bowl. Let's go. But I don't know. Sometimes it's nice if it's presented in a kind of a fanciful way. Jason Bateman's family is all fucking down. Not only are they down, but they're good at it. Like his like 17-year-old daughter is great. Already master manipulator, well-spoken, beautiful, charming, well-dressed, well-spoken, like all of the above. She's already like a little miniature of her mother, ready to be plugged in to any societal like junction, any like position of like quasi power. Oh, I run this foundation that's over these and yeah, of course we influence the Southern Trade District or whatever the fuck. It's always something. Some strings are being pulled. Like she's already like ready to be plugged in to that position of power. The son is some kind of a servant, and he's just so smart that I don't know what to do with him. He's a millionaire already.
A servant in the show.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you did. I'm like,
I'm sorry if that's a minor spoiler, but I think the joke will still hit the same.
They say he's some kind of servant, I think.
He's some kind of servant. I think he's one of them servants. Something like that. And his wife. I love Wendy. Ruth is the little blonde girl. Wendy, Ruth, and Jason Bateman's character, Marty, I think, they compete for my like favorite. We cut between a lot of characters, and I remember when Game of Thrones was on, Jon Snow time was pay attention time. There were sometimes it was like, oh, it's the Hound. Okay, I like this, but I don't really need to pay too much.
Or it'd be like, oh, it's a Sansa scene. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Can skip that one. Skip that one almost. But when it's Marty or when it's Ruth or when it's Wendy, I'm paying fucking attention. I'm entranced almost. They're so good, and their scenes are always so good.
Mhm.
You can't tell which one is better at what they do. They're all just so good at what they do. They're little.
And I like the way that Ruth.
Have you gotten to the part, Woody, where Wendy sits down with her father at a diner?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I don't want to like fuck this up for anybody who did watch it or anybody's going to watch it. When Wendy sits down in a diner to speak to her father, listen to her accent, her character's accent throughout the whole scene, and see if you can catch what's happening, because that's some of the best acting I've ever seen.
What?
It
I
was
thought you were going to
so
complain
good.
about the accent. Okay.
Her father,
No, she's good.
her father is a more rural guy, and he's telling her, well, I talked to the church and they said I should come on in here and see about things. She's like, oh, well, if the church all got together and they said that it was okay for you to go see about your dead son, well, then I'm glad that you checked with them first. She has that's her thing.
Yeah.
That's her cadence. That's her delivery.
Right.
And she's got this very eloquent way of speaking, and she's nailing all of her. And then, but after a while, she starts talking to her dad, and she's had just about enough of him, and she falls back into her real accent, the one that she grew up with, the one that she left behind to go to Chicago and to become the person she is now. It's not even mentioned. Nobody brings it up. It's just, it happens, and then it goes back. She goes from her Chicago accent, the one she has 99.99% of the show, to her Southern accent, and then back up into her real accent, and it's never even spoken of. No one notices it, but I did.
I noticed that too, because I pay attention to how characters speak, and she did a really good job of that. Like you're exactly right. I'm so exasperated, I just can't, put on an air or keep the walls up. Like I'm aggravated. She, for me, like Wendy is like a Ramsay or a Joffrey character, where like every time she's on screen, I'm locked in. But good God, she might be morally as despicable as the cartel guy.
I disagree.
Like she makes some rough decisions.
I disagree. I like all of her decisions. I agree with them 100%. One of the things that I don't like is
I feel that way about Marty. I feel like Marty's got it all under control and everybody else is fucking it up.
Yes.
Wendy has this thing where I can't tell sometimes whether she is actually, here's what's happening. Wendy can't tell anymore when she's lying and when she's not. Wendy is telling the same lie. Wendy is telling so many lies that she is starting to believe some of her own lies, and she's snapping in and out of that, and it's not surprising to her. She's just like, oh yeah, okay, that's the reality that we're in right now. Okay, let me shift realities real quick over to the one that fits this current moment. She shifts realities and characters so much, and I love that about her. I dig that about her character. But
she does, like, there are times where because she's obviously more emotionally driven than Marty is, where she'll like lash out at a partner. I'm not going to say anything specific, but she will do things in anger that then give like Marty a huge workload of like trying to undo, or a deal that doesn't pan out because she was.
I don't think it's anger. I think it's all calculated. I think she is actively.
Well, those were some bad calculations a couple times because they lost business and it took them way longer to launder the money because of what she did.
I think she's okay with that though. Like anything to like damage those people she doesn't like.
She is vindictive.
We're talking to too many layers here, but just to be clear, like fucking amazing. The first season of Ozark is like an 8 out of 10. The second season of Ozark is like an 8.5 out of 10. And so far, this is like matching that. This is staying right on par with it.
What's cool, and we've alluded to, is that everyone's competent. And it's interesting to have plot lines that run around competent people who are pretty good at what they do. No one's an idiot. There is no dad from King of Queens in this show. Maybe there's some idiots.
So the interesting thing is there are only two types of people. There are only two types of people in the show: geniuses and idiots. There are very few characters in between, and the ones in between are almost like the ones that if they can't be manipulated, and if they're not smart enough to be manipulating, then they're not characters in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, the stupidest guy in the show is the dude who's just getting manipulated up and down, and now is running the motel.
Yes.
Like,
agreed,
he's a dummy. He's also, I hate that guy. Every time he's on screen, he's boring. I know his whole job in that acting role is to be a boring schlub, a clueless idiot, but like, he annoys me. I don't like that. Yeah, it's a tremendous show. I really enjoy
the son from the Kansas City mob, that character, He's a bit of a dunce. He's got his own show on like some other show. It's been advertised to me a couple times. He's some kind of like badass or something. I need to look into that because I do like that actor. He got his dick blown off last season. With a shotgun for beating Ruthie, and this season to see like how that relationship has changed is really interesting. I recommend everybody catches up. Avoid those spoilers because some big things happen. And this is one of those shows where no one is seemingly safe. Whenever there's a few times in this season where main characters literally get like whisked away in black SUVs to go meet with a cartel boss, and I'm worried for them the same way I was worried when like in Game of Thrones when there'd be a big battle or something.
I disagree with you on the everyone's safe. Who's not safe in this show? Since the beginning, I can't think of a core character who's died.
I was really surprised when they blew Helen's head off.
Yeah, when they blew Helen's head off at the end of the third season, that really surprised me. I did not see that coming. I didn't think that. Fuck, what was Darlene's husband's name?
All of the Langmores that have been killed.
Okay, a bunch of Langmores, but Darlene's husband, I thought like the heroin guy. I thought he was going to be like
and Woody
for a while.
I want to murder the wife.
And Woody, again, I'm not trying to like spoil anything, but watch the rest of this season, and maybe you'll think
maybe I'll feel like someone unexpected dies, perhaps.
Sure, maybe you never know. Good season, great season. Remains one of the best shows that I've ever seen, and is currently the best show airing on television. If you're giving it some sort of like real measuring, like look, I love Peacemaker. I'm gonna watch the new episode when I get off of like here. But Ozark is killing it. For All Mankind is my favorite new show. It's on Apple TV, and the premise is that the Soviets beat us to the moon by like a couple of weeks, and that is a huge culture shock for both the United States and for the Soviets. And so the space race then continues decade after decade, and because of the space race, technology advances about 10 years faster than it normally would. So you start seeing cell phones in like 91, 92. You start seeing like iPads same time, 91 or 92. You start seeing video conferencing with Reagan. Reagan's coming to you live from a fucking tube TV that they wheel around the room, and he's having and it's deep faked Reagan like talking to the characters. They do a pretty good job of all that, like because presidents are, I wouldn't say they're characters in the show, but they're parts of the show. Like Nixon especially. He's the president at the beginning of the show, and he is Nixon. He's a piece of shit, and when he loses the space race, he's like, "What kind of chicken shit operation are y'all running over there?" Like he's trying to kick some ass, and like.
Do they do a good job with Nixon? Because I've noticed
you don't see Nixon.
Okay.
No, you hear Nixon.
I think you see him. I think you do, and he looks great to me.
Okay. Have you guys noticed with Nixon more than other presidents? Like when they're in a movie, he looks more like Nixon than Nixon did.
They turn him into a caricature.
Yeah, he's a total caricature.
They do
I'm gonna defraud.
So what they've done here, my guess, is they've taken. There's tons of actual recordings of Nixon. So they're taking real recordings of the presidents and real clips of them, and they're talking about relative things, like the Soviet Union. There's plenty of recordings of Nixon talking about the Soviet Union and being mad that they did a thing. So they just slip that in there and make it seem like he's complaining about the Soviets doing the thing that the show made up.
It's not like Livia Soprano, though, right?
No. No. It's like
I can't believe how bad that scene is on rewatch.
You know what they do fuck up on, and I hate when shows do this. Whenever a character picks up a photo that's like in an office, and it's like them when they were younger or like back in uniform, and they're obviously it can't really be them because the actor's 70, and this is supposed to be him at 25 in a flight suit, and that just doesn't exist. But they make it look so bad that you're like, dude, I could have done better.
It's like the George Costanza, like on the beach picture
on there. Yeah, it looks so terrible that it actually takes you out of it. I highly recommend this show, though. People die in this show. It's sad sometimes.
I hope. I've seen one death, and it's not a main character. Every time a rocket launch, I love it when they kill my favorite characters. It shows me a commitment to surprise. You know, there's. I don't want to over spoil it.
How would you? How many?
Apollo 15. I was hoping it would die. I was hoping it would explode like the Challenger did on the way up. Why? Because those are characters that you've spent 8 episodes building for me.
How many main characters would you say there are?
Main?
Who you would consider like your guys?
It's a little Game of Thronesy where it's hard to tell. Like, who's the main character of Game of Thrones? There are. Like, there's one.
I only asked because I was going to say
who like lowered the woman in the moon hole. Yeah. That guy's maybe the mainest character, but I bet it shifts, and I like that there's a good 8, 12 main people.
Yeah, I would say there's about 6 or 8 like main characters that I really care about, and if they died, it's a big deal, and like half of them die. Like a lot of people die. It's rough. It's a few times. The special effects toward the ends of the seasons, I guess I would say, things get crazy because that's when they try to do the big thing they've been planning all year. But no, I really like the show. I highly recommend it. I like. I don't think I have any complaints. I really like how they handled like the special effects, like the way that they. I don't know when they're like doing a moonwalk or something, or the way the technology advances is the thing that bums me out though, because it's like, man, I want to live in their world where we kept advancing and you know, like developing all these new technologies to try to keep pace with the Russians technologically, because it's like, okay, we need a habitat on the moon. How do we do that? Well, the tech that creates that is getting used back. The fuel sources and the mining techniques, the resources that are being gathered. The space program is fueling so much consumer technology that it's like,
that thing, right? Like from the Wright brothers to landing on the moon was 66 years.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, has it been 66 years since then? Maybe 55 years. We did what? Get iPhones and better telescopes?
We turned dicks into pussies.
Yeah.
Touche. All right. Yeah. All right.
Poorly.
Yeah, but we need to put that attention on space so that we can get better video games or
I don't know, man. Like seeing that cell phone in 1992 like really bummed me out for some reason. And then like I don't think this is a spoiler to say that, you know, the show jumps through the decades, and one of the time periods that they stop in is around 95, and it's like, fuck, that could have been my 95. Like, oh shit, that's so cool. Like their version of 1995 looks like better than what we have, I think, almost
2005.
You know, it's cool to I don't know, it's really cool to see. I like their imagining of what the future could have been had the space race continued. And one of the interesting things, not a plot spoiler, character spoiler, the way that in this universe, the way they've managed to fund NASA is by letting them like patent the things that the technologies that they create, like being NASA, and like license that. So they're taking in $75 billion a year in profit. NASA is. They make money. They're no longer take government money. They are sort of their own oligarchy over here that like makes $75 billion a year for itself and invests it all into space.
So very different from reality.
Very different from reality.
Okay.
They gotta get their merch game up.
I don't think we're gonna get another space race with an enemy unless like we'd have to it'd have to be like a bet kind of thing. Like if like us and Russia were like, you know, this is a space race. The winner, whoever does XYZ, can pirate all IP from the other country.
You know what it has to be? So what it would require is necessity. Necessity is what's required there. So you can sit here and make some sort of gentleman's agreement to race somewhere, but in the end, if it gets too uncomfortable, you're going to stop. But if there was a comet about to hit the planet and kill us in 15 years, and we needed technology to move, it would move. Or if suddenly we saw like, holy shit, is that asteroid that's about to pass by Earth in 20 years made of gold? Yes, it is. Well, who's going to be the one to get up there and fucking bring it into Earth orbit and start sending fucking gold down in a space elevator? Who's going to be the first one to grab it and claim it? That could happen too. And it doesn't have to be gold. Maybe it's some rare earth element like tritium or whatever the fuck is valuable. I don't know what what's valuable.
Printer ink.
If it was made of printer ink, the Soviet Union, Vladimir Putin would immediately leave Ukraine. He'd fucking sign up. He'd shake Zelensky's hand, and they would work together to get that.
Shit's
printer
like
ink.
$16,000 a gallon.
There's $80 trillion worth of printer ink in low Earth orbit. It's the size of a school bus.
It's a whole asteroid of mango jewel pots. The Zoomers are taking over the government.
Goddamn.
Another space race would be neat.
In the most recent Shogun, our Englishman has been given like a fucking house of his own, and he's got this super awkward scenario where they like gave him his own wife. And like, but he's also got a lady servant, and the emperor guy Toranaga gives him this pheasant that he has caught with his falcon, and he's like, a wonderful gift from Lord Toranaga. We will make a wonderful stew with this later. And he like hangs it up, and he's like, no one touch this. And his Japanese is bad. He's trying to explain to him that it needs to sit there and like rot for a few days. This apparently is some sort of 1600s British thing that they do with fowl, as they allow it to rot perhaps before they cook it. And in weird Japanese to English, the lady goes, "Oh, won't it smell very bad?" He's like, "Oh yes, the smell will be almost intolerable, terrible stench." And she's like, "Oh, why?" And he's like, "Oh, no one touch." Forbidden, death, and like
he's like, says, touch, die, or something like that.
Like that's all he's got. That's all the Japanese he's got. And so the episode plays out. Well, like, god damn, if this thing isn't stinking up, not just their house and their backyard, but like the village is complaining. So because their society's so goddamn rigid, the gardener, who's been a little sick lately, goes, "I'll take the L, folks," and he takes down the bird and like buries it or whatever, and then they execute him. They execute the poor old gardener. And so like our white dude shows back up from a rough day, mind you. And he's just like, "What's going on? Why is everybody fucking teary-eyed and shit? Who died?" And she's like, "Oh," she like gestures toward where the fowl had been hung, and there's an empty noose thing there where the pheasant had been hung, and he's like, "Oh, the bird's gone. Oh, it smelled terrible, didn't it? Who did it? Who took the bird?" "Urinaga took a bird." "Oh, did he? That old rapscallion. Can't believe he was able to get up there. Where is he? Fetch him for me." He just wants to like talk to him because he's been shooting the shit with the gardener, about the pebble guard and how they all need a good rock. Sweet old man. She's like, "Oh, he was put to death." He's like, "You killed that old man over a bird that I didn't even care about." And she's like, "You said death."
Yeah.
"You said death." And then she's like, gestures toward his swords, and she's like, "Kill me. Kill me, take my life." And he's just like, "Where the fuck am I?
You people are insane."
Yeah.
And you're with him so much in that moment where you're like, I'm so glad he's saying it. I'm so glad he's not just like, "Well, this is the Eastern version of our feudal system." He's like, "What the fuck do you mean cut your head off, bitch? Like, answer for your, what do you mean? No, I'm not going to cut your head off with your daddy's fucking sword." Jesus, what is this place? And he even tells her later on, he's like, you're just a prisoner to this rigid system of nonsense that matters to no one. Like, you suffer for this person who doesn't care, and you suffer for that person who doesn't care. When do you live for you? When is your life yours? And she's just like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore, Aru," or whatever the fuck. It's really frustrating. Yeah, that's pretty much what she said. She's very attractive, by the way.
I spent all of like 90 seconds being like, what the fuck? British people were eating rotten pheasant? And
were they?
No, it doesn't seem so. At least nothing came up when I searched that. And then I was like, why? Like, why would that be the mechanism they used in the show to like show the harshness of the gardener dying? That was just weird. Because like anyone who's eating rotten bird is going to be very ill. Like, you don't get an immunity.
Maybe he was going
to
cook it. I don't even know. I thought that they were eating the stew when they had dinner that night. They had the most awkward dinner ever. So this is my favorite scene thus far in the whole series. Has to be our English main character is hosting dinner, and his guests are the woman they're forcing to be his wife, the woman who is his translator, who he just slept with because she thought her husband had died in battle, and surprise, surprise, her husband. So they're all four sitting around the floor. They don't have a Japanese style, and he is serving them an English rabbit stew that he has made, and they are all so close to vomiting. But they're trying to be so polite. And after the dinner's over, she tells the servant, "Throw that stew into the sea." I love that shit. I loved the drinking part, the whole thing. The weird culture shock every episode is fun to me. I like that. Like he asks for a wart. He's like, have him tell me about how he escaped the great battle in the city. And as a viewer, I'm wondering, how did he escape? Last time I saw this guy, he was surrounded by swordsmen, being backed into a flaming home of some kind. Like, it looked bad for him. And now here he is. No, not a scratch. How'd you do that? And they're like, oh, he must come from a culture where bragging about one's deeds is much more acceptable. And it's like, yeah, he does. Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm more asking for an explanation than bragging.
Yeah, like tell me the story.
I hope we get that story. I would really like to hear what happened off camera.
Sure.
Oh, that guy, undoubtedly that guy is like a double agent now who was allowed to live because of that.
Oh,
I don't think so,
but it's a good theory. I think Kyle's right. I think that
he's ashamed.
Listen, the nature of escaping from a village of swordsmen by yourself, and I know we got some help along the way, but that's not a brave act. You are running, you are hiding, you are covering yourself. You're Rambo in the woods, traps and running, and
you might kill a kid before he could warn someone. He did something he's ashamed of.
There's no way he 1v90'd the village, with the sword. So I really want to hear what happened, and I hope I hear the truth of it, because I just keep repeating myself now. There's no way that you escape from a village of people trying to kill you
in a brave way.
It's pretty shady.
In a brave way, better phrased.
Yeah, he didn't hack his way through those swordsmen. He fled, which seemed to be what he was avoiding by facing them to begin with anyway. So it's that society is so alien to me. It almost seems like an episode of Star Trek. There's an episode of Star Trek. I won't waste too much time on this, but they go down to a planet. They start playing ball. The kid goes for a long one and dives, and he falls on these enclosure with plants in it, flowers and shit, crushes it, breaks it. But on that planet, every crime, the punishment is death. And he trespassed and destroyed property. So it's death. And it's like, whoa, come on. That's so alien. I can't even get on board with this. But this Japanese feudal shit is kind of close to that. I feel like if you were to fall into the emperor's garden and mess his pebbles up, damn, dude.
I honestly thought you were talking about Shogun when you said every penalty is death. I'm like, yeah. Touching a pheasant, speaking when you're not spoken to. Like, there's some petty shit that they'll kill you over.
There's no way it could have been that bad. They wouldn't have any people left.
That's where I am. Like, dude, making a useful human takes like 24 years. Like, you can't just throw that away all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about that.
You got to spice it up, Hollywood.
I think they did it though. It feels really authentic. I was so glad last week when I was proven right and that fucking boat was real. Hutch was like, no, that's CGI boat. Woody's like, yeah, it can't be real.
No. I don't think I weighed in. I don't.
Yeah, but I'm going to throw you in there anyway.
Okay.
If all of us were going, you're a fool. You're a fool. And Kyle,
you don't know anything about
wait and hear me out. And we shouted him down.
I'm not sure I had seen the show at that point.
I don't think so.
Which makes your allegiance to Hutch even worse.
Yeah, fair.